Hello, everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something that will sting a little. Have you ever looked at the person you're with, the one you call your partner, and silently wondered, are we actually going to last? Or are we just wasting each other's time? That thought creeps in late at night, when they're asleep beside you, or when you catch yourself replaying old arguments in your mind. It's the kind of question you don't want to face, because the answer could change everything. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Relationships don't end when people stop loving each other. They end when people stop paying attention to the hidden signs that the foundation is cracking. And right now, whether you see it or not, those signs are either screaming in your face or whispering under your skin. This is not just about love. It's about whether you are brave enough to confront reality. Because if you're holding on to something that's already slipping, the cost is your time, your energy, and in many cases, your sense of self. Men, especially, are taught to endure in silence. You bury doubts, you ignore her subtle withdrawals. You tell yourself it's just stress, just a phase, just life being complicated. But deep down, you already know, relationships don't collapse overnight. They erode, one small choice at a time. So here's the test I'm about to give you. It won't be numbers on a page or a silly online quiz. This is about your instincts, your psychology, your gut that refuses to lie even when your mind tries to. I'm going to walk you through truths you were never supposed to hear, because society prefers you remain blind, numb, and distracted. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly whether you're with someone you're building a future with, or with someone who's slowly becoming a stranger you'll one day regret wasting years on. I want you to listen carefully. Every word I say could be the mirror you've been avoiding. And if you feel uncomfortable right now, good. That discomfort is your mind's way of warning you that you might already know the answer to the question, will you stay together or will you break apart? The choice to keep watching could very well be the choice that saves you from years of pain or forces you to fight for something before it's too late. Let's get brutally honest. Most men ignore the small cracks until they become canyons. You think missing a text, a cold reply, or a sigh is nothing. You tell yourself, she's just tired, she's busy, I'm overthinking. But here's what you need to hear. Women communicate through emotions more than words. Every withdrawal, every half smile, every silence is her mind signaling something deeper. And if you're too blind or too proud to see it, you'll miss the pattern until it's too late. I need you to understand one key thing. Love is not measured in words alone. It's measured in consistency, in effort, in the little signs that show she still chooses you every day. If those signs are missing, it doesn't mean she's bad or unloving. It means she's already evaluating whether staying with you is worth it. And that's a reality check most men refuse to face. Because society told you to man up and tolerate discomfort, even when the discomfort is your own heart screaming for truth. So here's the litmus test. Look at your interactions, not the grand gestures, but the micro moments. Did she share something personal yesterday? Or did she brush it off? Did she laugh at your jokes? Or did she smile politely while scrolling her phone? Did she initiate contact? Or are you always the one sending messages, planning dates, or asking questions about how her day was? Every single one of these moments is data, raw, emotional data, that tells you whether she is invested or slowly checking out. And men, here's the subtle trap. When things feel off, most of you react by trying harder. You buy gifts, plan surprises, beg for attention. But here's the kicker. Desperation doesn't fix disconnection. It only amplifies it. Women feel it, sense it, and unconsciously it makes them pull back further. The more you chase a dying connection, the faster it dies. What you need is clarity, not action disguised as hope. So stop lying to yourself about just one more chance. Instead, observe, record, and interpret. Your task now is to see the truth without sugarcoating it. The way she interacts with you, day by day, is the only accurate predictor of your relationship's future. Now let's talk about emotional energy, because this is where most men get it completely wrong. You see, relationships are not just about love, sex, or shared memories. They are about emotional alignment. Every relationship has an invisible balance sheet. The energy you give, the energy you receive, the emotional debts, and the withdrawals. If you're giving more than you're receiving consistently, the relationship is already in deficit, and no amount of effort or charm can fix that. Pay attention to how she makes you feel when you're around her. Do you feel energized, understood, and seen? Or do you leave feeling drained, questioning yourself, doubting your worth? Men often ignore this because they confuse comfort with compatibility. Just because she's physically present or not actively hostile doesn't mean the emotional connection is alive. The truth is far more subtle and far more dangerous if ignored. Here's a hard fact. Attraction and love are sustained through mutual validation. That doesn't mean ego strokes or endless flattery. It means feeling like your existence matters to her, that your opinions, your emotions, and your life choices are valued. If those micro-affirmations are absent, if she rarely reaches out, listens fully, or celebrates your wins, even the small ones, then the emotional balance is tipping against you. And that's the point where relationships begin to die quietly, unnoticed, until the chasm is too wide to cross. Let's be crystal clear. Emotional neglect doesn't always show as drama. Often it's subtle, ignored texts, lack of curiosity about your day, fading laughter at your jokes, diminished touch, or eye contact that no longer seeks connection. Men are conditioned to overlook these signs, to rationalize, to hope, and to cling. But the moment you stop rationalizing and start observing, the truth reveals itself. And here's the paradox. Once you recognize this imbalance, you can do two things. One, you can fight to restore the emotional equilibrium, but only if she's willing to meet you halfway. Or two, you can accept the truth that staying may cost you your confidence, your clarity, and your happiness. Most men choose the first without realizing the second is often inevitable if the warning signs are consistent. So, your task right now is to map her energy toward you. Look at the last 2 weeks of interaction. Who initiated? Who invested? Who emotionally contributed more? That ledger will speak louder than any promise or declaration ever could. Now let's dive into the silent killer of relationships: avoidance. Not the dramatic fights, not the big betrayals, but the quiet retreat, the emotional shutdown that creeps in like a shadow over your daily life. Men often think problems are solved by conversation alone, but women are experts at communicating without words. And if she's withdrawing, turning inward, or shutting you out, that's a signal louder than any argument or apology could ever be. Here's the reality. Avoidance is never about you being inadequate. It's about her recalculating. Her mind is weighing whether staying is worth the emotional toll. And the longer you ignore it, the faster her heart drifts. Many men react by pushing harder, texting more, asking why she's distant, trying to fix things. But this is exactly what accelerates her pullback. Women instinctively sense desperation. Desperation isn't attractive. It's a red flag that tells her the connection is unbalanced. Notice the micro behaviors: subtle body language, delayed replies, less eye contact, or less laughter. Every small sign tells a story. The quiet dinners, the distracted smiles, the absence of curiosity about your thoughts or feelings. They're all chapters in a narrative you're likely avoiding. Men have a tendency to normalize this. They tell themselves, "She's just busy," or "It's just a phase." But let me tell you something. Phases pass, but patterns reveal the truth. And patterns don't lie. The danger is in denial. You start compensating by bending over backward, accommodating every whim, hoping that your effort can restore what's slipping. But relationships aren't measured by how much you bend. They're measured by how much both sides are willing to show up emotionally, day after day. If she's consistently withdrawing and you're consistently chasing, the dynamic is already toxic. Here's the psychological lens you need. When someone pulls away repeatedly, it's rarely temporary. It's a test, conscious or subconscious. She's assessing if the emotional connection still serves her, if you are the person she wants to invest her life in, and you, unknowingly, are part of her experiment. The question is, will you respond with clarity or with desperation? Will you observe and act wisely, or will you let avoidance slowly erode your self-respect and emotional foundation? Begin noticing these signals without panic. Track the pattern over time. Awareness is power, and power in relationships comes from knowing when to fight, when to step back, and when to let the universe reveal the truth. Let's talk about connection, or the dangerous illusion of it. Many men believe that because they spend time together, text, or share a bed, the relationship is secure. But time alone does not equal intimacy. Real connection is about depth, sharing fears, dreams, vulnerabilities, and truly seeing each other. And if you're not feeling that, if your conversations feel shallow, or if your laughs feel forced, then what you have is proximity, not partnership. Here's the harsh truth. Women don't just measure love in words or actions. They measure it in feeling. They measure whether your presence makes them lighter, safer, more alive, or whether it's a drain, a duty, a habit. If you leave interactions with a sense of emptiness, if her energy leaves you hollow, then the connection is weakening. Men, unfortunately, are often blind to this until it's too late. We're trained to focus on logistics. Are we dating? Are we exclusive? Are we living together? Instead of the emotional currency that actually sustains relationships. Another critical warning sign is disengagement. She may still laugh, still touch, still plan, but her mind isn't in the relationship. When you bring up future plans, does she respond with excitement or hesitation? When you talk about feelings, does she engage or deflect? The answers reveal more than any grand declaration ever could. This is the emotional test of staying together or breaking apart. Men often confuse comfort with connection. You say, "She hasn't left, she's still here, it's fine." But comfort is not love, it's inertia. It's the weight of habit, not the spark of alignment. Relationships survive on alignment, not convenience. If alignment is missing, the foundation cracks silently. And when cracks go ignored, even the strongest walls collapse. So, start measuring your emotional ledger. Who initiates depth? Who engages with curiosity? Who invests in emotional resonance rather than just physical or surface-level interaction? If the balance consistently leans away from you, that's your answer. The relationship may be failing, not because of one action, but because of a lack of consistent emotional engagement. Men, it's time to stop lying to yourself. Stop mistaking presence for connection. Your task is to feel the difference between habit and heart. And if you're honest, that gut feeling you've been suppressing will tell you everything you need to know. Now, let's confront a truth most men refuse to face. Attraction fades when respect erodes. Respect isn't just about manners or politeness. It's about how she perceives your self-worth, your confidence, and your ability to lead your own life. Women are instinctively drawn to men who operate from clarity, not desperation. And if she senses you are chasing, bending, or compromising your values just to keep her, her attraction will quietly diminish, even if she says otherwise. Here's a psychological reality. Desire is fueled by respect and challenge. When a man maintains his standards, his boundaries, and his dignity, he naturally creates tension that keeps a woman emotionally invested. But when those lines blur, when he becomes emotionally malleable to avoid conflict or win approval, she instinctively pulls away. And this isn't manipulation, it's biology. Attraction is wired into how humans respond to strength, consistency, and integrity. Look at her behavior closely. Does she still challenge you, tease you, spark playful tension, or has the dynamic shifted to one-sided control? Does she respect your time, your opinions, your space, or does she test boundaries because she knows you'll yield? Every micro-interaction carries clues about whether her desire is rooted in admiration or merely convenience. Men often ignore these signals because they're focused on comfort, not chemistry. Here's where most relationships silently die. Men start over-investing to compensate for fading attraction. They send constant messages, over-explain, or anticipate every need. But attraction cannot be purchased or forced. It thrives on confidence, independence, and emotional balance. The moment a man loses that, no amount of gifts, apologies, or grand gestures can reignite what's already gone cold. Your challenge is simple yet profound. Assess whether respect, and therefore attraction, is still present. Not in dramatic moments, not in rare sparks, but in daily, consistent exchanges. Do you feel desired? Do your boundaries matter? Are you still someone she admires? Or have you slipped into the role of caretaker, friend, or fallback option? The answers are not only revealing, they are decisive. Men, you must recognize that relationships are a mirror. They reflect not only her feelings, but your energy, your presence, and your respect for yourself. The moment you stop honoring your own worth, the relationship stops honoring you. Let's address the hardest truth. Sometimes love isn't enough. You can care deeply, invest relentlessly, and fight for every moment. But if the alignment isn't there, if the emotional, psychological, and even physical connection is fading, love alone cannot save the relationship. Men are often taught to endure at all costs, to sacrifice themselves to keep someone else happy, to hope that persistence equals permanence. But persistence without reciprocity is not devotion, it's self-erasure. Here's what most men fail to see. Relationships are like ecosystems. Every interaction, every choice, every unspoken feeling creates either growth or decay. You can water a dying plant, but eventually, if the roots are gone, no amount of effort will revive it. And in human terms, the roots are trust, respect, emotional alignment, and mutual desire. When those are depleted, the relationship enters survival mode, existing physically but dying emotionally. Ask yourself, when you are together, do you feel safe being fully yourself? Do you feel challenged, supported, understood, and wanted? Or are you constantly walking on eggshells, apologizing for feelings that should be natural, fearing her withdrawal, or overanalyzing every text? If the latter resonates, that's your alarm bell. Emotional labor should be shared, not one-sided. Here's the paradox. Men cling to relationships that no longer serve them because fear disguises itself as love. Fear of being alone, fear of losing history, fear of admitting that the reality isn't what you hoped. But the truth is, fear will always cost more than honesty. Facing the reality now, acknowledging the imbalance, and making deliberate choices is the only way to preserve your dignity, your emotional health, and your future happiness. So, recognize the signs without denial. Notice patterns, not isolated incidents. Observe how she responds to your absence, your boundaries, your silence. Evaluate whether she is adding to your life or simply occupying space. And understand this, ending a relationship that has lost alignment is not failure. It is clarity. It is courage. And in many cases, it is the only way to open the door for the love and connection you truly deserve. Men, the test you've been avoiding is here. The answer isn't in grand gestures or dramatic confrontations. It's in observation, reflection, and honesty. Are you with someone who builds you up, or someone who quietly drains you? Are you holding on to a future that no longer exists, or are you ready to choose clarity over comfort? Here's the final truth, and it's one most men never allow themselves to hear. Your relationship's future isn't determined by love alone, by promises, or by hope. It's determined by patterns, choices, and alignment over time. Every text ignored, every subtle withdrawal, every moment where you felt unseen, unheard, or unvalued. Those are not minor incidents. They are signposts. And if you've been honest with yourself, you already know what the answer is. But clarity comes with responsibility. You can't pretend anymore. You have to ask yourself, am I staying because this relationship genuinely nourishes me? Or am I staying because I fear being alone, fear loss, or fear admitting the truth? The answer is in your gut. It's in how you feel after every interaction, in the emotional energy exchange, in the moments where you feel alive versus drained. Men, the courage to confront this reality is what separates those who grow from those who stagnate. Here's the challenge I leave you with. Take a moment, reflect deeply, and write down the answer to this simple equation, because it will expose the truth your mind might be hiding. What I give emotionally plus my respect for myself, the value she brings emotionally plus respect she shows me. If the left side outweighs the right, the relationship is unbalanced. If it's equal, it's sustainable. If it's less, you're being drained. This is your roadmap, your mirror, your wake-up call. Men, don't run from it. Don't rationalize it. Face it, accept it, and act accordingly. Whether that means fighting to restore alignment or walking away to protect your energy, clarity is power. And power in relationships is not about control. It's about knowing the truth, acting with integrity, and honoring your own worth. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause, reflect, and write the answer to that equation in the comments. Be honest, even if it hurts. Then like this video, subscribe for more truths no one else will tell you, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this before it's too late. Because the sooner you confront reality, the sooner you reclaim your emotional freedom, your self-respect, and the love you truly deserve.